All right, so here's the start of episode 2. I promise to get better with every episode, so I'm gonna cut the chit chat and do as much work as I possibly can. So we'll keep this short and sweet and get right to it. Okay, so I was working on the brakes last, still in the exact same spot. I remembered just today that I called a machine shop the other day and promised them that I would take them the flywheel to resurface. So still on the back of the engine. I got to remove that first and real quick, and then I can get back to the brakes because I need to drop this off at the machine shop today. Alright, so I got that removed. I thought it would be a good idea to bring the clutch also to the machine shop. Just make sure that there's no issues with what they're going to do. I'm taking it there to actually have it lightened by a few pounds, hopefully, just to see if I can get a little bit of performance out of it without having to buy a full aluminum flywheel. I think that going to a full aluminum flywheel on a will hopefully be a street driven car might be a bad idea. They're about 6 pounds, which I think is a little too light. I'd like to be somewhere around, I think these are like 14 pounds stock, so I don't know if I could get close to 10 pounds, that would be nice. We'll see what the shop can do, and hopefully we can free up a little bit of rotating mass and gain some more horsepower. Alright, so I found a solution for this brake line tab thingy. This is what I made. Just kind of whip this up real quick. Could make it a little bit better. I sized this gap just a little smaller, but still pretty happy with it. I think this larger gap is actually good because you can actually just loosen it a little bit and you should be able to adjust this within this gap here and then retighten it back down. But got the brake line fastened in there really good. I think it looks pretty nice. It's aluminum, stainless steel, some stainless steel hardware, or it's probably just zinced hardware. But I think that's gonna work out really nice. I gotta make another one for the other side, and I think I'm probably gonna show you how I made that, because it was fun, and I think you'll enjoy it. Okay, hopefully you can see that all right. I'm gonna make the brake line bracket for the tie rod, rear tie rod. It's in the name of the channel, Fly Fabrication, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna fabricate a little bit for this car. So, first thing we're gonna do is use probably one of my favorite tools in the garage, and I think most people who make something should have one of these. It's a portable bandsaw. Got this little piece of steel here attached to it so that I can put it in my vise when I need to. And then I got some scrap steel here. I think it's probably like 1/8 inch aluminum. Always keep scrap steel around. We're gonna cut this piece right here, probably 2, the exact same, right here to start this band that we're gonna make. So. There's 2. The reason I like the Portaband so much is, first of all, it's a lot quieter than an angle grinder. It's not much less messy, but the mess does stay a little more consolidated to one area. But also it's just much quicker than an angle grinder too. Okay, let's make 2 more of those because I think I'm gonna redo the side that I showed you. Just because might as well do them all at once. So got another scrap piece that's the exact same scrap piece, and I'm just gonna cut those off again. Okay, so these are a little bit shorter than the ones I made last time, like I was saying. I actually cut last time this piece right here. So you see how much shorter I made it. I think that'll be better. The question is, can we bend it with it being this short? So I might have to just go to this anyways, just because of the length of bending it. So yeah, this is gonna be really easy. We're just gonna use a vise and a pair of pliers and a hammer for all of this. And then we're gonna clean it up with the belt sander. So we're just gonna put it in the vise right at the line that I made. We're gonna bend it. Start the bend with the pliers, and then I'm gonna just hammer it down. No sense in making it too fancy. When you're bending things like this, even if you're doing it on a press brake, obviously you have to plan that your bends aren't going to interfere with your working area. So sometimes you have to think about that a little bit. See how I've collided here? This vise has a little bit of clearance, so we're going to move it over. Perfect. That'll actually help us for the next one because we just do the same thing and make sure it hits in the exact same spot. Okay, so we've got this now. I'm also going to twist this just a little bit. Perfect. Let's see if we can get that bend. Nice thing about aluminum is that it's very forgiving. We're putting all these dents in it, but we can clean those up with the sandpaper, and it's not going to rust on us with all these cuts and scrapes and bruises. So that's what we got. I'm going to go test it again, see how it fits. Well, I think that's actually perfect. See if we can replicate this 3 more times. With 2 of these, we're gonna have to drill the holes for it. And then 2 of them, I have to add the hole for the actual brake line bracket. I'll show you how I did that as well. Actually, I might as well just show you with this one, because the rest we can kind of skip through. So, for sheet metal, you can use one of these step bits. Much thicker stuff, you really shouldn't use this. They chip. This one's got a few chips up here. Simple enough for that. We're gonna add a countersink for this one. Because we're using countersink bit to sit on the underside here up against the tie rod to hold the brake line in place, the brake line tab in place. Actually, I went with a much smaller one. Let's see. Yeah. I'll show you what that looks like as well. So we can get the brake line tab as well, and I can drill a hole in that and fasten that real quick. Stainless steel is actually pretty forgiving too, only because it's a really hard material, so it doesn't show up as much with the hammer marks. There we go. I got a good grasp on that. Okay, so yeah, stainless steel, really hard material, so drilling into it is a pain. We're gonna use lubrication. I like 3-in-1 oil. And I'll just use the step bit again. This is still technically sheet metal. With the step bit, you don't have to be as straight down and worry about breaking bits. There we go. My hat's probably been in the way the whole time. Okay, there we go. We just need to make matching ones, go around here, and then we can clamp it all together. It's gonna look really nice. These in it. Sweet. Okay, I gotta leave for work, but I did get this one replaced. I think it looks a little bit better with it being a little bit shorter. It doesn't hang down so far. Works the exact same way as the last one. Yeah, I think that looks really good. All right, so it's the weekend. I've got a little bit of time, so I'm gonna work on my truck actually. Did a rear bumper on it that I made not that long ago. It needs a little bit of tweaking, and I need to start on the paint. So that's what I'm gonna do today. It's really nice out, so just excited to be outside. Get you a little bit of a closer look at the bumper. Made this with a few scrap pieces I had, like this thing. It's not made for it, but I made it work. It's just kind of like a little bit of a step with this flip down license plate bracket, so I can open the hatch and it's not getting in the way of clearance underneath it. And I did the bed cut on it. So, and I made the hitch low clearance, moved it up inside the frame. But now it needs painted. As you can see, it's really rusty. So I'm gonna get started on that right now. A little bit of a closer look at how it fastens. These are the stock bumper rails I cut and modified to work on this rear bumper. One of the things I have to fix, this brace sticks out a little bit too far and rubs the frame. Makes it a little bit hard to slide on there. And then of course I'm gonna coat this whole thing in rust converter and then paint it. I ground that down a little bit so that it's flush with that bracket. One other thing I gotta do is I actually have to notch right here a little bit for where the hitch receiver goes in. It was just a little too low, so I'm going to cut it here and here. I'm going to squish it in the vise and then re-weld it. Okay, so I actually decided to do this in the press. I moved it out from its normal spot to give me a little more room. We'll see if this goes according to plan. Well, you tell me, how's it look? It's just a rear bumper. I never meant for it to look super fancy. Just got done spraying this with this. I love this stuff. But, well, not just got done spraying it. It's been like maybe 30 minutes. Let it do its work, and then just gonna spray this with whatever black paint I have, which is like this matte black high heat stuff, Rust-Oleum, paint over rust. So I think that's probably good. I don't think I have anything else that would really work for this. Yeah, I think that's best. Okay, got it painted up pretty good, I think. That black paint doesn't need to be that nice, just needs to not rust. I also removed the rear hitch that I cut and welded to be lower profile, be up inside the frame rails. Got that out, got that painted. So, put that back in now. Okay, so got it mounted up underneath the vehicle again. You can see it sits between the frame rails. So this is just the factory hitch. It's still mounting in the exact same points as the factory hitch. I had just cut the ends off, flipped them side to side so they would be up inside the rails, cut a little bit off the ends of the square tube here, and then re-welded it inside the frame rail. Okay, got it back on, painted, looks really good, I think. The bumper secures to the frame as well, but it ties into the hitch here and here as well. So just really strong and tied together all together, and plenty strong to take a hit, and hopefully low profile enough that it doesn't take any hits. Well, they're done. I think they're not really that noticeable from the outside, so I think that's a job well done. They hold the brake lines in a good position, out of the way of stuff, and that's what we were supposed to accomplish. And I know that you're probably tired of me talking about the rear brakes and you just want to see the front brakes, so we're gonna move right on to that. Now once again that rain is going, so hopefully you can hear me. Before I took the caliper off, I actually wanted to test the brake line, make sure there wasn't anything I needed to do differently. So I fastened it all in there. Got it connected to the same type of brake line tab as the back, but these ones actually use the Norma clamp like I designed, and they go around the coilover. And I wanted to make sure that they would work through the full range of movement, so full lock in both directions. All good there. Let's go the other way. Nice and good there. And shouldn't hit the wheel, shouldn't rub on the tire or the wheel at all where it's routed. So, fits really good. Okay, so what's so special about these brakes? And not just these brakes in particular, but about the stock Swift brakes compared to the upgrade I've got, and about the stock Swift brakes compared to the Geo Metro brakes. First of all, Swift brakes are vented. Metro are solid, unless you get the convertible, which would have had vented brakes on it as well. I can't remember if the rotors are any bigger diameter, but I do know that the mounting points for the knuckle are different on the convertible. They're also different on the Geo Metro, and they're different on the GT. The GT gives you a bunch of options for brakes, actually. A lot of people are going to early CRX SI calipers, mostly because it opens up a few more selections for brake pad compounds. They're actually not that much larger than the stock GT caliper, maybe a couple millimeters bigger piston. I think the pad surface is nearly identical or very close. You're just getting more brake compound options. So what I have on the left here is from a DC2 chassis Integra. These are slightly larger even than the SI, the CRX SI calipers, and you get more pad compound options, and the pads are much larger than OE. And I can show you that difference here. Let's pop this out. And just take this one out. So there's your difference in pad surface. What's nice about the calipers is that you can still use your stock rotor. So really no fumbling around with mismatching rotors, because the Suzuki Swift and the Geo Metro, they have a 4x1 14.3 bolt pattern. So finding rotors for them is kind of hard as far as going to something different. So I'll show you the casting in this. So if you wanted to go with the same ones, you could. I mean, look at these things. They're massive compared to even the stock ones. So, yeah, GT brakes bigger than Geo Metro and vented. The convertible brakes are just a little bit bigger, also vented. If you can't get your hands on some GT brakes and you're just looking for something bigger for your Geo Metro. Obviously, if you know anything about Hondas, a lot of calipers have this same mounting width. One such is from an Integra Type R. I messed around with fitting those. I think I might have a picture. The reason I ultimately decided not to use those, even though they're ginormous, I think that they're 4-piston calipers, And the reason I decided not to use them is, first of all, because it requires a 15-inch rim, and even that is pretty tight. And I wanted the option to run a 14-inch, not necessarily that I would run a 14-inch, even though that's what I got now. I just wanted the option to do so. Another thing that I had to do with those is it was necessary to change the rotor diameter because of just the way the shape of the caliper. I had to use this weird year of Prelude rotor that no one had, and I just didn't want to have to deal with remembering what rotors I had to get, and messing around with finding a source for them and all that. And so I wanted to keep it a little bit simpler. So these DC2 calipers, they bolt right on. They use the stock rotor. They're a larger diameter piston, larger brake wear surface, more brake wear options. I mean, just look at how much coverage you get on that rotor compared to these little dinky ones. So it was just definitely a better option for more stopping power. Okay, so when you're painting calipers, you really should take them apart as best you can before painting them. Put a plug in the threads where the banjo goes, wrap some thread tape around the bleeder screw to cover it. On these, they're already pre-coated calipers, so I'm not going to paint the inside of here. What we're going to do is scuff these up first just to help the paint stick. I've got a VHT caliper paint and then some flame-proof clear to go over it just to keep it safe from chemicals and brake dust and stuff. So here we go. Okay, I hit them with the Scotch-Brite. Got them nice and roughed up. Wiped them down so they don't have any grease or residue on them. They should hopefully hold the paint. Okay, here we go. It's got 2 coats on it. About to apply the clear coat. I think they're looking good. So here's something interesting I noticed when I disassembled these calipers. These two are from the Reman calipers. This one is shorter, and it has a larger brake fluid feed hole. This one's longer, really small feed hole. I mean, yeah, even the one on the top is different size. These are the ones from the original calipers, and have the hole that goes through both sides, and they're longer like this one, not as short as this one. So I don't know that that would, I mean, it's got to affect it a little bit, right? So I'm going to be running the OEM banjo bolts here. I'm going to wire wheel them up, and hopefully we don't have whatever that would have caused. Hopefully we don't have problems. Kind of glad I caught that, if it would have been anything at all. There you have it. Red calipers are on. Stainless braided brake lines are on. What should we move on to next? I think getting the engine reassembled is one of our next steps, especially because I'm expecting the transmission soon. Hopefully we can get back to a state that I was 6 months ago with the engine and transmission in the car. I've already started to put the cams in. The cap bolts here are not torqued yet, but yeah, they fit good. They look definitely They got a good profile on them. They look like they were well done, so excited about those. Here's what the caliper looks like behind the wheel. I think that looks really good.